This piece is entitled, When It's Judy Garland versus Liza Minnelli, Shouldn't Mommy Win? My friend Millie and I were in a booth at the 23rd Street Diner. I ate my salad. She sawed away at some chicken strips. I said, "That chicken looks dry." She said, "It's tasteless." I said, "So send it back." She said, "That's okay. I know how to suffer." I said to myself, this is going to be one of those meals that's all about her pain. Aloud, I said, "For the record, I once spent 17 hours passing a kidney stone." She said, "Big deal. My entire marriage was a kidney stone." And it left me with my daughter, Kidney Stone Jr. I paid for her wedding. I paid for her divorce. I paid for her apartment. And what do I get back? "Mother, please don't hug me. I'm claustrophobic." If it weren't for a mother's embrace, the world wouldn't even know what goodness is. I said, "Well, what does the father have to say?" She said, "That ghost is so out of the picture that as far as I'm concerned, I fertilized my own egg." I said, "That's a scary image, but I respect it." She said, "When a problem has no solution, just going on is the solution." I dug deeper into my salad. She continued to do battle with her chicken strips. I said, "How's your relationship with the Con Edison guy going?" She said, "It's gone." I said, "You burned through people quickly." She said, "He had good manners, which I liked, and big ears, which I overlooked. But his brain was on the fritz. The whole time we were together, apparently, he was circulating a proposal through Con Ed to alleviate pedestrian crowding by leaving the covers off manholes." I got rid of him, but now whenever I walk on the street, I'm looking down. I said to myself, she attracts a bad crowd. And what's really disturbing is I'm part of that crowd. I finished my salad. She continued to do battle with her chicken strips. She said, "When was the last time you were involved with anyone?" I said, "I don't have to do that anymore. I've aged out. But the past lives in my mind vividly. Did I ever tell you about the time I met Liza Minnelli?" She said, "Really? Back in the 80s at one of her shows?" I said, "It was back in the 80s, but it was at an orgy in Red Hook that had a Judy Garland, Liza Minnelli theme. Amazingly, Liza showed up in the flesh, zonked out of her mind. We ended up together, maybe because I was wearing a Judy Garland wig." She straddled me while she sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." I was deeply moved. She said, "Are you sure that wasn't a dream?" I said, "It might have been. It doesn't pay to look too closely at these things anymore. We don't have that much time left." She stopped doing battle with her chicken strips, dropped her knife and fork onto the plate with a clatter that turned heads, waved the waiter over and said, "Garçon, this chicken sucks."